Hey yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back to this episode of World of Tanks. And part of my new player EU experience, we're going to talk about how to unlock tanks, how to research vehicles, some of the ins and outs and the ways to do it. It's a very central game mechanic to World of Tanks. And you're starting at Tier 1, you want to get to Tier 10. How do you do that? As always with my videos, if somebody has a better way, a different way, or something I missed, an addition, whatever, comment, criticism, put them down in the comments and share with everybody so we can all learn. I recently started an EU account about 2 months ago, and I've never used blueprints. Now I'm using them a little bit to kind of figure out how they work. On my NA account, I basically had unlocked everything without blueprints by the time they came out. And then each new subsequent line I simply grind through because I want to go through the whole line, figure out the module upgrades, and give you guys a good info. However, on EU, I'm not against using the blueprints to blast through some lines, especially the low tiers. For you brand new players, yeah, bomb around at Tier 1, 2, or 3 for a while on several lines, but by the time you get to Tier 5 and 6 or 7 on several lines, you may not want to be hanging out down there. And using the blueprints and what I'm going to show you is a good way to get through the first 1 to 4, maybe 5 tiers, and then you can grab a Tier 5 tank and go off to the races with one of the other nations, all right? So Wargaming has done two things, like I said, to make it easier, blueprints, and then they've streamlined their tech tree recently, so it's much easier to get through. This is good and bad because gameplay, I think, has suffered a little bit based on all the inexperienced players getting to the high tiers, but that is just the way the ball bounces. It's not like you're going to keep them out of there by some weird fencing of skill or whatever, so we just have to deal with it. But that being said, I would recommend for you new players to stay at Tier 5 to 8 at the max for a while until you get comfortable with the game. But let's talk about the mechanics of how we do this. So there's a couple ways, like I said, to research a vehicle. The one is just straight up experience. You play the game, you come out of the match, and you have X amount of experience chucked on to your vehicle. You can see I've got the M443 right here, and that is how much experience this tank has on it, 9,877. So that's where you're going to find that number right there. Your free experience exists up here in the top right, 15,535 for me. You can convert free experience using gold. By converting experience that is sitting on tanks, you can see that these tanks have extra experience on them. We'll talk about that in a little while. I don't have enough gold to convert it, but it's a 25 to 1 piece of gold, and you can get a chunk of free experience. I don't really recommend this. If you have the money, it's one way to increase the speed at which you unlock modules and tanks, but it's costing you real money. All right. So we have 9,877, and we want to research. The M4043 I just played, and I just want to quickly, you click on the details, quickly show you where you find the amount of experience you got in the last game, and is down here on the totalizer. This is a standard free-to-play account. If I was running premium, I would have made 2,476. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice that they tell you how much, hey look, if you had premium, you'd be doing this. So good on them. That's how you know. But on a free account, I made 1,650 experience. That got tossed onto this number right here. Break real quick. Let's find a tank that is completely unlocked. Here we go. There is a button over here that says Accelerate Crew Training. You can see that this T150, which I have completely unlocked, if we go here into the research, I have all the modules, and I've unlocked the next tank. All right, so the gold means you're buying that module. If it's green, it's the experience required. We'll look at that in a minute. But because the T150 is completely unlocked, or elited, as they say, this button is now usable, and I can click it or unclick it. If I unclick it off of Accelerate Crew Training, all the experience that I get in this tank when I play with it will get dumped here. And then if I'm going to convert it, that's how I put extra experience onto a tank that's already elited. If I click Accelerate Crew Training, what that means is exactly what it says here. Spend all experience earned on this vehicle on crew training. The least experienced crew member is trained twice as fast. You help him catch up kind of thing. Which means that I don't dump any experience here when I gain it. It goes into the crew. That's one of the benefits of having an elited tank, which means every module is unlocked and the next tank. Plus, if it has multiple lines, I believe it has to unlock multiple lines. But I could be wrong on that. All right, so that's what's going on there. Now let's take a look at a line that I'm looking at unlocking without without playing the tanks for a while. All right. So I want to get up to tier 4 or 5 on the. Let's do the check line right here. All right. I want to get up to tier 4 or 5. Maybe tier 4. Let's go up to tier 4. That way I can get to play it and maybe unlock the tier 4 and 5. Or sorry, the tier 5 tanks right there. All right. So one way is to buy the tank and play it. Right. I buy it. I get experience. I unlock the modules. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But I don't want to play it. I just want to go through these 4 tiers and get to where I can play the tier 4, buy it, and then unlock the tier 5 heavy and medium tank for the Polish. All right. The way I do that then is I've got to come down here, and since I'm not going to play it, I'm going to have to use free experience to unlock this module. Notice the line goes through this gun to get to the 7TP. You notice I can't do anything with the 7TP. Even if I click on it, I can't use, actually, yeah, unable to research, right? I can't assemble a blueprint because I have not unlocked the tank before. And that's a little bit incorrect because what I really only need to do is go through whatever line gets me, and we'll show you in just a second, to this tank. So let's just do it. It's going to cost me 75 free experience, this 15,000 up here. So I say yes. I've unlocked it. Notice that the green goes over here. And now it's only 235 free experience, or experience, if I ended up playing the tier 1, to unlock the 7TP. So let's do that. And I'll lose another. And it's made this one elite. All right, so I went through that quickly, but what that means is the tier 1 is now elite, which means if I had it in my garage, I can click the all experienced to crew members on it and go crazy from there. And I don't really want to do that with a tier 1 because tier 1s tend to have 2 or 3 crew members, and they're not great for training crew members because moving only 2 crew members forward, that's a video for another time, can be problematic. But we go to the 7TP, and now here's what I wanted to show you. If I want to get to the 10 TP, I only have to go through where the arrows go through to unlock it. If I don't also unlock these extra modules, it won't be elite, but I can get past it and move on to the 10P. So I'm going to do that. It cost me 90 to do that one. It cost me 320 to do that one. And then I can unlock the 10 TP. Right? So now I can buy it if I want, or I can just go here, and now I can go through to the 14 TP. I'll unlock this one. I'm going to ignore these because I have no intention of playing this. And then for 3,000, notice it's getting more expensive and more expensive as we go. Now the 14 TP is here. Now let's say I wanted to use, now we'll switch from using free experience to using blueprints. All right, this says blueprint assembled because I have this tank unlocked. Let's just quickly go through this. Actually, let's do this one. We'll do them both. Why not? We can use free experience and unlock, or at least get to these 2. All right, we've used a lot of free experience, guys. We just burned through about 10,000. All right, once you get to about tier 4 or 5, it gets very expensive. As a matter of fact, these tanks are 10,000 and 13,000 a piece. So let's go ahead and use, and it looks like, this is probably a good example, it looks like this tank right here, the 25 TP, already has a blueprint that I have found or been given as a reward. Remember, you get blueprints as you go. All right, so for whatever reason, the 25 TP, I have 1 blueprint piece. That's nice because now I only need 5. All right. How many blueprints do you have? Well, that's a great question. When you come into here, let's go back to the, there we go, click on the blueprint thing here. Click on this top left and you'll find out what you've got. I've got 262 universal and 20 for the Polish. All right, 20 in depot, 262 universal. And the thing about those, just click this off, is you can then use universals and national fragments to create specific fragments for the tank. The other thing about putting a blueprint down is it gives you a discount on research. With one blueprint, I now have a 15% discount on researching this thing. So it means it takes less experience to do so. But let's say that I want to create a blueprint. Now I can do this one of 2 ways. I can do it individually. So I click on this, or I hover over it and I find out I need 6 universal. You can see it down there. I need 2 Polish, and that's going to give me this blueprint fragment. I can do that because I have 20 Polish fragments and I have 262 universal, so that's going to work. The other possibility is I can go create maximum, click on that, and it's going to cost me 30 universal and 10 Polish, which I have, right? So that's what we're going to do. Actually, let's just do 1 first. We'll do 1, create, boom, puts the fragment down, and look at this. We have now a 30% discount on the experience for unlocking this tank. Then if I want to just use them all, I can click create maximum. Now it's going to be 24 and 8. It's minus the 2 and whatever it was there. And I create that bad boy, and now I have unlocked this one. Wait till it comes up with the research, because you have to press this to research it. That way you know you're researching this for 0 experience and 0 free experience. And when we go back, we will notice that we have the, let's go back one more, the 25 TP is unlocked. All right, I can do the same thing with the DSPZ, INZ. I don't have anything, I don't have any blueprints already for this, and I don't think I can actually create enough. Let's see, 30 and 10. All right, not quite. Gets me to a 75% discount on the experience required. And if we go back there, then we find out, it's actually easier to see it from here. I only need 3,300, either free experience or buy the 10 TP or the 14 TP, sorry, and play it for 3,308, or find another fragment or get enough universal and Polish fragments to turn it into the specific fragment. All right, so that's how that works right there. I'm down to 4,555 experience, and I've got this unlocked to tier 5. I really recommend, once you get a little bit familiar with the game and you've played some of the larger nations at tier 2 to 4, kind of figure out the mechanics, how to shoot, how to drive some of the maps, and you start to build up these blueprints. This is one of the best ways to get yourself to about tier 5. And really, the big fence, the gatekeeper on moving forward in this game is going to be credits. Silver credits to buy the next tank. That's really where the difficulty comes in. That's where you're going to have to play the game. And while you're building those credits, you're going to start picking up these blueprints through various missions and rewards and things that are going on right there. The other thing about clicking on this blueprint deal is you can see all these tanks that have the little blue shaded out piece. I have picked up fragments for those already. All right, so those are the tanks you know that you have some fragments for. Let's take a look at here. You can see I've got some for these. And as a matter of fact, with the checks, when it says right here that you can create fragments, that means I have enough. You can see I've got 16 check fragments, 202 universal. So if I click on where this thing's talking about, oh, that's already assembled. Let's go back here. All right, so I'm unable to do that. That's interesting. I did not notice that. What is this telling me? Ah, here we go. So I can create the maximum on the STVZ39. So only it cost me 4 and 1, or 16 and 4. Sorry, that was 4 and 1 for one of them. 16 and 4 for all 4. Blueprint assembled, and off we go. So we're done with that. We've actually assembled the blueprint on this. Now that's interesting. Now I'm confused myself because, quite honest, I was surprised I was able to do that. I thought I had to come through here. Look at that. Am I completely wrong? All right, love it when I learned things here. So I was right and wrong, more wrong to some extent. The tier 1s, it looks like you have to unlock. Usually they have a 1 extra gun. You have to unlock that, which unlocks the whole tank and allows you to use the blueprints. But it looks like past that, you do not have to go through the modules. As long as this tank is unlocked, which it is, this is the tier 2, I can go to the tier 3 and I can actually use the blueprints. So I'm just going to create maximum here. We're going to research this bad boy, blueprint. Okay, so I can't, you can use 100% on researching after you've researched the preceding vehicle in the branch. Ah, that makes sense. So what I've done is I've assembled a blueprint, but I have not unlocked it. So, okay, there's, so there's two things going on here. There's unlocking it, researching it, and there's putting the full blueprints on there. So in the case of this one, I do need to go through these modules in order to be able to, there, it opens it up. All right, so that does unlock it, but it doesn't stop you from using blueprints. All right, so that's a little bit confusing there. So now I've researched this tank, and I can go here, and I could go to the logo, and I could use blueprints. Unable to research the previous. See, I think that's a bug. That's a bug, because here it is. Oh, unable to research. See, you got to be careful. The the blueprints, I guess, are discounts to research. They're not necessarily researching unless the tank is eligible to be researched. There you go. Game expert Guido. Holy macaroni. It makes sense. I see what they're doing. They're trying to keep the fence up that you have to get through these modules to be able to research the Sturv, the Tier 5, but they're going to let you use the blueprints before that, which I don't get, but must be just the way they've mech'd this thing. I hope that's clear as mud. Essentially, if I want to buy or research the Sturv M2, I have to go through the modules that get to it, unlock those modules, so now it is unlocked to be either researched or bought, at which point I can then enjoy my 0% research because I've used all of, or discount depending on how many of the blueprints I've used. Is that clear as mud, my friends? That was awesome. That was awesome. That's my fourth take on trying to figure that one out because it was blowing my mind and I could not understand what the heck was going on. But there you go. Hopefully that muddied the waters for you on how experience and blueprints work. Man, sometimes you just have to kind of fight your way through things in this game. It is quite complicated at times. Once you look at it and figure it out, it's kind of one of those aha moments. But you're like, what the heck? How did we get there? But all right. I hope that helps you guys out a little bit. That was pretty funny. For those of you who put the comments down below about how I was wrong, I appreciate it. We got there, didn't we? We got there together and at the same time. All right, that is it for the how to experience, how to use experience, and how to use the blueprints in World of Tanks. One thing I didn't mention is when they streamlined all of this stuff, there are other tanks in the game in case you didn't know. Just really quickly, you go to the store, you go to this little tank, collector's vehicles, and then you have a bunch of tanks for these nationalities that you can buy, and they are essentially unlocked fully once you get to that particular tier, and it's going to depend on the tier of the tank. So for example, all of these German tanks are available for me for various amounts of silver, and you can go ahead and play those things. Some of these are kind of iconic tanks, the JP2, the 3001D, for example, the Panzer III, IV. You know, if you look in there, there's other tanks if you're interested. All right, that is it. That's all I've got for today. Get out there and start unlocking stuff. See you guys later.